Hi, I'm Kendall Gammon. This is Real Talk with Real Media. Today I'm joined by Michael Jones of True North Outdoors. Michael, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
You know what, just tell us a little bit about the history and how you got to where you are.
Well, oddly enough, I worked at a landscape and snow removal company when I was in my early 20s. Happened across a new way to perform snow and ice management and outsource all of it. And was the first one in Kansas City to really popularize that as a way to do snow and ice management. Before that, it had been all self-performed, employee-based, and so my first office was a RV at 115th and Metcalf, and that's how I got my start.
That's interesting. So even while you were, I won't say a laborer, but working hard on things, you were always looking for better ways to do something, and I suppose that's something that probably sets True North apart.
It was, yeah. For us, need has always been the mother of invention. So that was solving a problem for a friend of mine whose company I worked at as a manager, and then have continued, really, honestly, with that same vein of thinking and that same forward-thinking way throughout my career.
And that's probably then continued to separate you in the fact that it's just not a business, it's a relationship with your customer, making sure that they're satisfied no matter what they've got going on weather-wise.
Yeah, very true.
Well, interesting. Well, as you move forward, what is it you're trying to accomplish these days?
These days we are really on the cutting edge in terms of landscaping. So a lot of the focus in our business has shifted from snow and ice management to landscape maintenance, landscape construction, and we have a very new and innovative way of doing landscape that we've coined biocentric, which is essentially an approach that's marrying, techniques from the ag industry into the ornamental horticulture industry, and it's a soil-centric approach. So we focus on creating great soil, and really the rest takes care of itself when you do that.
I imagine maybe that saves a little bit of water as well.
Saves a lot of money on water and health-related issues, just because the deeper, the richer, the better the soil, the better the landscape is.
And one thing that I'm very curious about is, what is it that you do with True North that sets you apart from everyone else?
I think what sets us apart is that we have actually designed our products and services really around our culture. And we used to be the reverse of that a decade ago. And we've designed a different way of doing business where we use business unit leaders, where we have a small business inside of a larger business. Value-driven, our values are team ownership and excellence. And everything that we do, all the services and products, flow out of that organization driven by our culture and values.
I get the idea that maybe you're creating a family, not so much a worker, and the fact that you hire people who then go, you hire smart people and trust them to do things the right way. They have a relationship with the customer, and does it just kind of flow from there? It
does, and we're somewhere between a family and a sports team.
Oh,
so
okay,
we have
very good.
A lot of athletes who love the game of it and love playing as a team, and so.
And really, this is one of those things where I can identify with this a little bit, which is if you do your job the right way, maybe nobody's going to notice. Right. When they do notice is when maybe things don't go perfectly. So you try to be as perfect as possible and understand that you're providing a niche and making a difference.
Yeah, and yes, and our team works together really well to try to cover each other's back and make up for the differences. And everyone has their primary thing they do well, but then they have other secondary things. And a lot of times it really does take a team effort and a service business to make things, to hit excellence that people expect and deserve.
We've talked a lot about where you've been and what you do, but True North, where are they heading? What's going to be on the cusp for them in the future?
Well, we plan on expanding in this market and adding other branches around the city. We also plan on moving more into residential landscaping at some point. We have, again, our very unique technology where we have a sustainable, very green fertilization and soil amendment approach that can actually be dispensed through the sprinkler system. So you can use a sprinkler system as a way, it's called fertigation, to actually fertilize your lawn, and you marry that with intelligent water management to really monitor the amount of water you need, and you've got an amazing system for a homeowner.
And really, people don't understand, number one, how much of a science this is. Mm-hmm. And then number two, you bring it up with the homeowner, expanding into that market. A lot of people probably think that, well, they're doing all this technology, whatever, that can only be for the big boys, the companies, all this stuff going on. But you're bringing it down to the everyday consumer to make the yard look better, to make the shrubs look better, just to take care of everything. Is that right?
Totally true. And the great thing about that delivery system is that you can add other things in, like different, sustainables, insecticides, different cocktails to do different things, manage different pests, manage deers at your property that that system can do way more than just fertilization.
So really it comes down also to the fact of meeting with your customer, understanding their challenges of what's going on, and like you said, developing that cocktail that comes through the irrigation system, whatnot, and making that better for everybody, right?
Yeah.
A lot of fascinating things that we've been talking about in other segments, rather. But one that I'm very interested in, because I think this is very important to you, which is culture. How does it affect the growth of your organization?
Culture is everything to us. It's the first thing, and we've realized that if you have the right people, you win. And in this day and age, compared to when I started, over 25 years ago, that has become really the most important thing, is actually attracting and developing and retaining the right people that can grow an organization and expand from within. So culture has been our big emphasis in the last decade, really.
I think you brought up something that I think is very much a buzzword or phrase these days, is really the retention, keeping the people you have. Certainly it's better business-wise, it doesn't cost as much, but also for the culture, having the same people around, I think the ideas would probably generate easier, there's more comfort level, and then it transitions maybe over to the customer as well, because they get used to those people and they're there also.
It really does. In fact, we have an entire theme that we have, which is our goal is to make work wonderful, so that actually expands and touches the customers, touches their vendors, subcontractors, everyone that's in the organization and out is affected by it, because we believe if you make work wonderful, that you will have an amazing service, product, the numbers work when people are happy and feel like they're moving forward and accomplishing something.
How do you give back to the area of Kansas City?
It's a great question. That's an important thing to us. We, being a part of the landscaping industry, have a couple of organizations we support that have urban farms. One is the Urban Farming Guys downtown, where they're actually bringing community garden and good food into the urban areas. And then also Cornerstones of Care, and specifically Gillis Homes, has an urban farm where they have youth that they are incorporating in and teaching them agriculture and using that food not only to cook there at the site, but also to bring home to the children's families. Another thing we're very excited about is actually we're in the process of turning my office into an art gallery and actually supporting local art, so that we're taking nothing from the artists, and the artists are able to bring their art in, and we'll promote their art and have them there at different events, networking events, so that they're really connected to people who are actually able to buy that art, and we get to appreciate it, and they get to have a tremendous, display area and be a part of our family and culture.
That's really interesting. Going back a little bit, I've always felt like the green industry is something that's very, very upbeat and happy, because making your lawns look good and things of that nature, and just the fact of bringing a skill to the urban area that maybe otherwise, I can't think of any other places that bring that type of skill in somewhere. Otherwise, they would never have that. Getting the chance to do something that I think they would otherwise would never have a shot at.
Yeah, very true. A lot of great things happen when you bring people in touch with gardening. 60% of the country is into gardening, and it really does bring a sense of satisfaction and literally even physical and emotional health to kids at Gillis and other places that are involved in the program. It's one of the more popular programs they have.
I know one thing that's very therapeutic to a lot of people is having some type of plant and caring for it, caring for some living thing. And to me, that's what you're talking about, is caring for something and making a difference. And what better way?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well said.
Listen, Michael, I appreciate you stopping by today. It's been a great time.
Thank you.
This is Real Talk with Real Media, and I'm Kendall Gammon.